Both men and women.
And women.
So in my family, ingqiti yenziwa kucicane.
Yeah.
And then komama or mantombazana yenziwa on the ring finger.
Is it? At what age? Or it doesn't matter?
Before the age of 5. Like anytime between like 1 year old to about 5 years old.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. This is, of course, another Friday. Well, you may be watching this on a Monday, but this is to us on a Friday. But thank you so much for joining us here on Love, Marriage and Family Podcast. And thank you for joining in. Thank you for streaming. And thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for everything. We hope that, every week, well, as you always say, we keep bringing you, families and stories that are inspirational, that we really believe, would cause some positive change, in your life, in your love life, in your family life, as well. My name is Mo, and of course, I'm with Pindi.
Oh, yes. Guys, thank you so much. Once again, we want to remind you of the marriage dance, which is taking place in Pretoria at State Theatre on the 14th of February, 2025.
Yeah.
So we have a date in 2025 on Valentine's Day in Pretoria. Please make sure that you book your tickets before they sell out.
Please
but
do.
like Mo said, we have an exciting guests that we are bringing you today. And they are
Nyaniso, as well as Yana. Dzedzes, and the two of them, of course, they need no introduction, and we're gonna delve into some of the stuff, and just maybe find out as a couple what they're up to, what they've been up to. And thank you so much, guys, for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to start from the beginning. I always like starting things from where they began, obviously, in the beginning. We know you guys as people that have met when he was traveling overseas a few years ago. And one thing led to the other. And here you are, guys, in South Africa a few years later. Is that the truth? Is that how you guys met?
That's from A to Z, exactly.
Oh, you lie. So I've been stalking you. I know all of this.
You know everything. You tell us.
But how did you guys meet?
I was visiting a friend in Manchester and traveling around the UK lots. I'm from the UK. And a friend of mine in Manchester said, mixed movement is happening. You have to go. And I was like, I've already booked my travel to leave the day before, so it's not going to work. She was like, you have to go.
Oh,
you
wow.
have to go to mixed movement. So I was like, okay, I changed my travel and I went to mixed movement. And it was basically like an open mic, but an open floor for dancers.
Okay.
With live musicians. It was a really beautiful setup in the foyer at Contact Theatre in Manchester.
Pause. So.
Okay. Do you have a different version?
No.
It's fine.
Look at it happen like this. I'm taking you on a journey.
Okay, how was yours?
Because he's not part of the mixed movement, so.
I'm like, how far back should I take this?
Sure.
Take it back.
Okay, so in 2000, this that she's talking about actually happened in 2012.
Oh, wow.
In 2007, a friend of mine convinced me to do a play. I was studying at Wits at this time. I wasn't so sure about the play, but we just hodgepodged it and created this play that was done by students, for students, not even for marks. We just did it for fun.
Oh, wow.
We did this play. Next thing, James Ngobo rocks up to come watch one of the performances. James Ngobo at the time was just really giving birth to his directing journey. And then he saw my performance and he's like, I want you to be a part of the play that I'm going to be doing at the Market Theatre. And I was like, as a third year student, yeah. And then I ended up doing this play. The play was a beautiful success, but then it was put on pause. And then James is like, I want to tour this play. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. I waited until I gave up, and I ended up doing a bunch of stuff, danced, joined dance companies, whatever. Next thing, 2012, I get a call from James. He's like, yo, we're doing the play. I'm like, 4 years later, homie. Like, we're doing the play. Come through. We're touring. We're going to England, and then we're going to the Netherlands. I've always wanted to go to the England. I never knew why, but I've always had a feeling that I have to go to England.
Oh, wow.
Never been, but I was like, I'm going to go. I broke a contract that I was in. It had 2 months left. And then I broke this contract that I was in just to make sure I did this play that was touring. I jump on a plane, we tour, we go to the Netherlands. Netherlands, we have the time of our lives, and I'm thinking I'm just on a great old holiday. And I'm just like having fun with my boys and stuff like that, and the cast. And we go from Netherlands, we end up in England. England, it's a ball. We're playing, we're performing everywhere, from one place to another. On the final night, I'm having the time of my life as well. Like, there's girls that are interested in me. They want to hang out and whatnot. And I'm like, it's great. And we have this performance. And after the performance, I'm beat. I'm tired. And I'm like, okay, cool. I've just done the last performance. We're done. And then the space that we're performing at is Contact Theatre in Manchester. And they say downstairs they have another like showcase performance thing going on where musicians and dancers, like, they play together. And they're asking us to join. I'm like, you want me to dance some more? I just did a whole hour of dancing upstairs. I'm fine.
Yeah.
They're like, no, please, we really need you to, like, and you guys are the only South Africans here that are like dancers. Please come join us. I'm like, I can't do it. And then Billy, who was like my castmate, he's like, you need to do this. Let's do it. And he has a relationship with Contact Theatre anyway, so he liked them and he wanted to impress them. And so he convinces me to do this. I'm like, Billy, I'm going to do this thing, but I'm only two-stepping and we're taking it easy.
Yeah.
And that's where Billy was like, okay, Shav, yeah, take it easy. Don't have to do much, whatever. We get downstairs and then there's musicians that are set up there. They play, like, the setup is they play whatever it is that they want to play, and then the dancers come on and they interpret the music,
wow.
and we dance to whatever's being made up on the spot, and I make up a movement on the spot. Billy goes on first, and I'm like, okay, cool, and I go watch and stuff, and then Billy starts crumping there, he starts pulling out moves there, and he's and I'm like, this guy. We agreed. We're gonna take it easy.
Take it easy. What are you doing now?
Nice hey, this guy, like, he pulls out the stops, and then my like competitive ego is like, I can't let this fly. This guy's gonna make me look like a fool in Manchester.
Pause. So I'm there, walking to mixed movement and watching all these dancers, these musicians. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. This is cool. I turned to my friend who was like, you have to go. We've come to mixed movement together. And she's like, she's sassy and she's happy to be here. And she's a dancer. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman. And we're watching. I see this guy come on. He dances. He dances nice. And then he leaves. And then I see this other guy. And he comes on and he struts and he takes off his coat and he drops it on the floor dramatically, and then he dances. He does backflips off the stage. He's fully in it. He gave 100%. And then the mixed movement event continues, and me and Dora, we end up dancing, and we're paired with different people. And I have a bit of a complex relationship with dance. I love it, but I also feel like it's so revealing. I feel like you see so much of a person when they dance. And I feel like I saw so much of Nyaniso when I watched him dancing. Yeah. It's like, I see all of these layers of this complex person. But there was something just very magnetic about it for me.
Okay, pause.
He was, yeah.
So I walk on stage. I'm like, Billy, you'll never, ever in your life take off this coat,
You're gonna regret this day.
My body is like, I'm finished, but I'm like, one last rodeo, my guy. We need to do this.
Yeah.
And then everything just comes out. Like I just breathe it all in, and I just move. Like I've always been like a spiritual performer. Like I just come from my belly whenever I do performance. So I thought I wasn't gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
Before Billy broke our agreement. And then next thing, now I have to go tap deep and I go digging again. And like, and this beautiful flow of dance just comes out. I end up doing a backflip off stage and all that stuff. And then I'm like done. I'm pooped, and people coming up to me. Oh my God, you're so great. I'm like, thank you so much. I can't even hear them.
Catching your
like,
breath.
okay, cool. Now we're opening up the performance to more of the audience to come and dance and stuff. And these two beautiful women comes on, but this one. Who's that?
Okay.
I thought I was done dancing, man. Like, I need to go dance some more. And then they opened up the dance floor, and then like the people that performed earlier could now dance with the audience members. Now everyone's just interpreting the movement, and everyone's on. And I got up, and I made my way through the dance floor, and I was looking for.
Thought
this
you were
woman.
exhausted.
I was finished.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the spirit came.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I need to go find this woman. So I went to go find this woman. And then I saw her, and then we made eye contact. And then I just found my way getting closer to her. And next thing we just started dancing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then we're dancing and dancing and dancing and dancing.
I remember it so vividly. There was this moment where we were dancing really close. We were in this like deep lunge, and like our chests were like pulsating, and it was a vibe.
Wow.
It was a vibe.
Wow.
And then suddenly I realized that everyone circled around us.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And then we join the circle, and the whole event comes to an end.
Oh, wow.
And then we connect, we say hi, Billy says hi, Billy takes my contact. And because me and Billy have had a chat, like we end up sort of connecting the three of us. Another woman who I'm sure has a thing going on with Nyaniso at this point. So I'm like, let me give space, it's fine. We had a beautiful dance. That was cool. It was fun, mixed movement, great. And we end up going out into the night and finding a club. And
Pause.
Still thought Nyaniso was tired, but anyway.
I was poop tired, man. and like just before, one of the people that came up to me, they're like, "Oh my God, you are so amazing." Before I saw this other woman dancing, was this other like woman like that was from Manchester. I think she was mixed race or whatever. She comes up to me and she's like, "Oh my God, what are you doing after the night?" And like, "I'd love to hang out." I'm like, okay, cool. Like, we'll hang out. It's cool.
Yeah.
Whatever. But that was it. Like, I just met, she's like, let's hang out. So we were hanging out. And then at the end of the thing, I'd forgotten all about her and everything else. And then next thing, at the end of this thing, everybody has circled around us. The whole event had like danced itself to a standstill. I don't know how long we'd been dancing.
Yeah.
But we finished this thing and I look at her and I say hi and she goes, hi. And I didn't know what else to say. And then next thing I just walk off. And then Billy goes and hangs out and talks to this woman that I was dancing with. And I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, there's a way now. I can say something else. And then I go back and like I'm like introduce myself. Hi and hi. What's your name? Yana. Because back then, like like people were still calling me like Nyaniso and Yani, and so like I thought this person, why is your name
rhyming with mine?
You're playing a joke on me. Why does your name sound like mine?
I see that.
Did Billy tell you to say this?
Nyani.
And then now she's like, no, my name is Yana. I'm like, whoa, okay, cool. The next thing I'm like to Billy, where we're going after this is our last night. What are we doing? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, listen, the girl that you were talking to, tell her, let's go hang out.
Yes.
The girl that said...
The other girl.
Yeah. I'm going to tell her we're hanging out. In my mind, I'm like, I'm swapping. I'm giving
Billy, there's your girl.
Billy, there's a friend.
Yeah. Can I have your
Who's this
friend?
one? Yeah. And that's kind of literally what happened.
Yeah.
We hung out in the night, we walked and stuff. Billy spent lots of time talking to Yana. I spent lots of time talking to this woman here. We journeyed into Manchester, did like all kinds of stuff. We're like giving each other piggyback rides up hills and random until we found a place where we're gonna dance some more. And I was finished dancing, but I wasn't finished dancing.
No, you
No,
were
you
not.
weren't.
We danced that night until the night ended, and I still didn't know what to say to her. Like,
Wow.
Who were you dancing with though? Because there was another girl.
I know.
We ended
No.
up.
Oh, you were
already-
there from
During
the
the walk.
onset.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did the swap, and that was it. It was
No, I
over.
wanted to see if the swap was done.
No,
Because
during the walk, I was like, "Hey, Billy, you've been talking a lot to this other girl. Let me talk to my friend. Billy, go get to know this one." And that was it. That was it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But did you have your eye on him though?
I
during
definitely
that?
had my eye on
Definitely.
him.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The namesake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that night was like a beautiful night of us just like not knowing. I didn't know what to say to her.
Yeah.
But we danced a lot.
yeah.
Dance really coaxed our connection.
Yeah.
At the end of the night, she still thought I was in a relationship with this woman that I'd met earlier. And I was still trying to figure out. And granted, that woman was showing me lots of interest and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And I was,
But I'm here. I'm locked here.
and then we kept contact because of that dance. And then Yana then took my details. She asked
Billy
for my
had taken
details
my
from Billy.
details. So it's all thanks to Billy that
So
we're here.
Billy-
Yeah.
Billy-
Billy was
Billy
instrumental.
was a wingman that was needed.
Yeah.
He was a much needed
Yeah.
wingman.
Yeah.
Billy was the guy here, please.
He's the star of the
He's
story.
the star of this whole thing.
It was
you know?
Billy still in your life today?
Both of us wouldn't have known what to say.
I mean, Billy convinced you to go and perform some more
You
In the
know,
first
when you
place, yeah.
actually didn't want to
I
do.
didn't want to do it, but
you know what I mean?
But Billy
Yeah.
Is Billy still?
Is Billy still in your
is
life
still
though?
in our lives. In
Oh,
fact,
that's
we're doing
cool.
a project right now
Oh, that's
Oh, is
cool.
it?
where Billy and I are performing together.
Oh, that's awesome.
That would be
Shout out
so
to Billy.
interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's another beautiful story. My wife, she's a writer. She writes bids and she
Yeah.
writes for funding and stuff like that. She helps people apply for funding.
Yeah.
She helped me apply for funding recently, and we won it. And
Yay.
we're giving birth to a project that is around speaking back to the turbulence that's going on inside of men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's like coaxing questions around why is there so much hurt, brokenness, abuse, violence, and stuff
That
in
is
relation to
interesting,
men. So
yeah.
we've
Yeah.
been on a journey unpacking all of that. We've just come from
Pause.
a trip.
Pause.
Pause.
Pause. We're gonna come to that.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna come to that because I know that you've been working on a project.
The book as well. that-
for quite a while,
Yeah.
which I want us to get into.
Yeah.
But I want us to continue from you guys went for this crazy night, with these two ladies that you have met, and all this time you could not say a word to her. At what point did you have courage to say, come on?
Are you gonna cut out?
Yeah, no?
Just go straight to Skype.
Okay.
So there was, I left actually not knowing his name. And like I'd forgotten his name. But through Billy, found him because of Facebook posts and things.
Yeah.
And then sent them both a message wishing them well with the rest of the journey, safe travel home. Mind, I was 20 at this point.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
I was 20.
I was
So
26.
Yeah.
yeah, we were
Oh,
young.
my word.
We were young. And so we ended up connecting on Skype, and he sends me a message and he's like, hey, so I met a woman that I'm going to come back to the UK for. And I'm thinking,
It's the other lady.
no, I'm thinking, oh my God, he means me, because we danced together. We had
Oh,
a
yeah.
great time
Okay.
dancing. We did connect.
Yeah.
And we've exchanged a few messages at this
Yeah.
point. There's
Yeah.
a bit of a conversation going. I'm like, oh my God, is he coming to the UK for me?
Yeah.
And I literally type, oh my God, I love you. And then I pause and I go, delete, 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 delete. Do not. Yana, do not.
This is not the time.
No, 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 no. And I go, oh, cool. What's her name? I'm not going to say her name. We'll say B.
Yeah.
And he goes, B. And I'm like,
Why is it telling you?
I dodged a bullet
Pause.
there.
Yeah.
Pause.
Why is it telling you about B though?
Let me tell you what happened. I thought you were going to jump this chapter, but it's fine. Since
It's
we're
part of
here.
the story. It's-
Since we are here now, we want to know.
and it's also in
So
the book.
I think, you know what happened for me? I told this story to my therapist, our therapist yesterday. I was like, come to think of how that happened. I'd met this woman the night before. And in my mind, I don't know if anybody else is like this, but in my mind, what happens for me is like I replay the moment of like, I should have, I could have. Next time this happens, I'm going to make sure I do like. And so weirdly enough, I'm on my way out of the UK the next morning, right? And then we're going through the airport. At the airport, I see this woman. She captures my eye by like a shop that sells perfume. And then like the connection is nice. She like showing interest in me, and I'm like, hi. And she goes, hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm so-and-so. I'm leaving the country. But you caught my attention, and I thought I still want to get to know you even though I'm leaving. And she goes, cool, let's get to know each other. And she gave me her email address, and I took it. And I think subconsciously what was going on in my mind is like, that's what you should have done last night.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
I went ahead with this thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know. I lost contact with the other one. Like I didn't.
So now you try your luck.
also forgotten her name too.
Gotcha.
Right? So anyway, I go on this trip. Next thing I'm making connections with this woman. So I get back to South Africa, and now I'm like connecting and having a thing with this woman. It's like a week later. Next thing she's like, oh, I'd really love for you to come to the UK, and I'd love to see you. And I'm like, I'd love to see you too. And then next thing, a day or so later, she messages, and I'd already like started this commitment journey with the other one that I'd met at the airport.
Yeah.
And then literally this is what happened. It's funny how she tells the story. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I think I have though. But I wrote her this message, and I never told her the name on purpose on the first one because I wanted to see what she would say. Because I wrote this message, I'm like, I met this woman that I want to come back to the UK for. And I was hoping she would give me something to say, like,
I love you.
I love you.
She tried.
She said, I love you, or something like that.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have even found out about
About
the
the
other one.
other one.
I would have dropped that message call and would have broken up with that one. That was a week old. It was a week old at that time.
But why did you tell her about the other one?
I didn't tell her about the other one.
When you said I've met someone.
At first, I was saying I met someone because I was hoping she would like.
She'd
She'd be like, yeah,
This is the one.
Like I really something that made me feel like she wanted me to see her too. And I swear, if she had said something, if she had said that I love you,
Yeah.
that's where our relationship would have started. But
The blessing of it is that we had this setup where we got to speak as friends and really hold a line as friends, but we spoke a lot. And,
she started dating a bunch of other people too.
you know, I was...
Okay.
You and other people's emails.
There was no significant anyone, but I was,
She was
I was
dating
having a
them.
good time.
Poor me.
Well, you were busy too.
She
So.
started telling me about some other guys. We're busy telling each other about
I've
other
got my own beat too.
So we're talking from a place of just really getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And in those conversations, I'm going, so when are you coming? We should dance again. When are you coming? We should dance again.
Yeah.
When are you coming? When are you coming? And then they break up. And I'm like, when are you coming?
Oh, they
when
broke
are you
up.
coming?
Yeah.
They ended up breaking up. And,
online. We
and
never saw each other since the airport.
Thank God they broke up.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So it was like, when are you coming? When are you coming? When are you coming? And eventually, bearing in mind at this point, I'm in my just playing around. I'm young. I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
I'm pulling people close. I'm pushing them away. And
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
you're
not
20,
serious.
so...
You see? So he's like,
They agree
You know,
with each other.
honestly,
I see that.
if I'm coming for you.
Oh.
I
He
was
said
like,
that.
So, pause. At that time, right, I just spent most of the money that I had gotten paid
Yeah.
for that work on different things, like sending some home, trying to survive here. I was living in a back room in Soweto, like it was maybe it was 1/3 of this room here. Yeah, like it was small.
It was enough for you.
It was like I put in a bed, a 2-door wardrobe, and like a fridge this big, and that was it. Like from my bed, I could cook.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that.
Life of a single
I lived
guy.
in one of those setups.
I know those.
And then, so I had my last 8,000 rand from that thing, and from 8,000 rand back then, you know, you're living in a back room, you're paying 400 rand for rent.
That's a
And,
lot.
you know,
You are good.
like it was the last 8,000 rands. No, I'm lying. It was the last 10,000 rands. But I'm talking to this woman, and while I was talking to her, and she kept saying, "When are you coming?" I started researching flights.
How much was the flight at
A
that
return
time?
flight at that time was like, it's still similar, but it was about 8,000 something rands.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got 10,000 rands. The flight is 8,000 rands.
It's a return though.
Yeah, it's a return. But I'm chatting to her. She goes, when are you coming? I'm like, I want to come see you. And I'm like, but I can't play anymore. We've been playing for these past few months, chatting on Skype and nice and talking for hours.
Yeah.
But I'm like, just know, I'm investing deep now. If I'm coming,
Yeah.
I'm coming.
It's
for you.
serious.
And I'm not coming. Let's figure it out. No, I'm coming for you.
Oh, wow.
And then she said something like, come. And then I was like, next day, bought the flight.
I had a moment. I remember speaking to my best friend and being like, yeah, but this guy's in South Africa.
Yeah.
And he's been saying he's going to come and see a different person, and that's not happened. And like, what am I, like, does this even make sense? And then a conversation with my best friend just really locked it in. I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Come. And so Nyaniso came for 2 weeks, flew over.
10,000, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
10,000. 8,000.
8,000 is already gone.
8,500 gone to the flight. Now I'm left with like
2,000 2 weeks.
1,000. I'm left with 1,000 because the other
something,
500 I paid for this and that and visas and this and
Hey,
no, I
you are-
still had a visa.
You are a
from the
magician.
Yeah.
How did you?
$1,000, 2 weeks in England. I was still living in a dream. I get it. Like I'm a naive 26-year-old living in a back room in Soweto.
Yeah.
I'm thinking with 1,000 rand, I
could
could make
stretch
that
it.
thing
Yeah.
last 2 weeks in South Africa.
Yeah.
3.
Imagine.
Yeah.
I can make it last a month in South
You're
Africa.
kidding.
I'm okay. Like
Gotcha.
I mean, what's the most I can? I will buy some kotas there.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
tin fish and
Yeah.
what do you call that thing?
I feel you.
Yeah. Fish
And I was
boy.
like, it's funny. I've got like a picture, like a photo album of food that I was eating back then. When I was like, I'd cook myself like tin fish and pasta and like mixed vegetables.
Great protein.
Good times. I got there, and if you want to go into the airport story, you can. But anyway, I
think
got
we can.
there, and then I withdrew the money.
How?
I'm like, nah, let me draw all of.
You wanna have cash.
1,000 rand, and I'm gonna be right. Puminote 1,
Yeah, pound.
50 pounds,
Yeah.
Pound.
and I'm like,
Puti, what are you doing, Lavelle?
I'm like,
How am I going to impress this one?
I'm at the airport. I just got my bag. She's waiting for me. I'm like, yeah, just give me a moment. I need to draw some money. Go draw that thing. I'm thinking, 2 weeks here
Yeah.
I'm already here.
with 50 rand.
Let's change the flight. Bring it closer. Go home.
But luckily, we had a guardian angel.
Yeah.
Her mom was like our biggest advocate, and like she wouldn't let me pay for anything. She's like, no, we got you, whatever. We're going somewhere. No, I got you. Wanna
Yeah.
go eat something? No, I got you. Transport? No, I got you. And like no one, I don't think she even really knew of my financial situation
At the time.
because
Oh,
her mom
man.
just kept covering us,
Oh,
and I was
wow.
like, oh, okay, whatever, you know.
No, that's cool.
So sweet
It's
of
so
her.
amazing, though, when, to use today's language, when stars align.
Yeah.
You know, because from the first day you met, I mean, it was the beginning of something that ended up being this. You know what I mean? From the day you didn't want to go dance because you were tired, you know, to
Same for Yana.
same
but
for
she
you know what I
also
mean.
didn't wanna.
It's really really amazing because when we sit with virtually every couple, the story is so unique. And it all speaks to that one thing about the stories. I mean, the stars aligning, you know, and suddenly you understand why you had to go to Facebook. You know what I mean? And
Why certain things happen.
suddenly
Yeah.
you understand why, you know, the inbox and
Yeah.
I'm coming to the UK. At that time, it was not meant for you, but it's part of the stars, you know, aligning because somebody else would have been, oh, okay, sharp. You know, I'm out. You know what I mean? So it's really, really interesting, you know, how
And
that.
I knew it was like divine.
Yeah.
Because in 2000 and I think 6-7, when I was still like a student, I prayed to God. I was like, God, this is the direction I want to go. I want to become an actor.
Yeah.
But I also want to be a husband and a man with a
Yeah.
family. So please let me meet my wife before I become famous, because I know I'm gonna go in that direction. So let me meet her before I become, so that I won't doubt this love.
Yes. Yes.
And all of this happened. This entire story happened as on the other side of my world, God lined up my first breakthrough project film called Hear Me Move.
Yeah.
And I got confirmation that I was gonna do that project, I think a week before I flew.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm about to do a film that is gonna be nationally renowned and seen in cinemas, and I'm about to go meet this woman. God, is this it? And then as it all happened and fleshed out and whatever, and we had our journey, and then I flew back home, and then I was about to shoot Hear Me Move. I just got the confirmation. God was like, yeah, I get it.
This is
You wanted it to
it.
happen this way.
This is it.
So here it is.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know about you as a dancer, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is news to me. I know you as an actor.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how what was not your first choice, or I don't know if it wasn't your first love, but what wasn't what you wanted initially became who you are now, which is quite amazing because it's nice to hear that that's how you started as a dancer to where you are. But as you said, how has that, before we get into that, obviously you get to the UK, you've got $50 or whatever with you.
That's a lot of money, right? That's a lot of money.
It's 50 rand. I think. It's 50 rand.
Who paid you 50 rand for 2 weeks? I mean, you are a magician, Puti. I have to agree. I don't know how anyone can spin that. But so from there, obviously, you guys are clear. We're in a relationship now.
Yeah.
We are dating. Do you tell Billy, obviously, break his heart? Uguti, hey, Billy,
That ship has sailed.
this
He
thing
was
has
very
progressed.
happy for me.
Yeah.
He was very happy for us, actually, you know. I don't know when I told him, but I did tell the group, because
Yeah.
like it was me, Billy, Tony, like we were a group like
Yeah.
gallivanting the Europe,
world.
Europe, you know, like having the time of our lives, and it was beautiful to be witnessed by them and see
Yeah.
this journey happen. I don't know when I told them, but I think it was the first trip that you came down. Yeah, I just told the guys, I was like, yo, remember that girl that we saw at the last?
That one.
She's in South Africa. She's here.
Oh, my word. And then obviously, eventually you make a decision to come to South Africa full time. Geez, some parents.
At that time, you were 20.
I was 21.
At the time, you decided.
Oh,
I'm
my
going.
word.
I just turned, so it was actually my 21st birthday that I woke up to a picture of a a woman in an Emirates uniform holding a piece of paper that says, "Guess who's coming?"
Oh, wow.
Happy
And it
birthday.
was a happy birthday. He'd booked the flight, and it was him confirming that
He's coming.
he's coming.
Oh my word. And then obviously you guys decide that you want to get married eventually. At what age are you at that point?
The conversations around marriage were tricky because we had to navigate cultural elements first. How are we going to raise our children? What are we going to take on or not in terms of cultural practice? So that was a process.
I don't remember what year that was though.
Yeah. It's always a
We
process.
were married in 2008.
Yeah.
Yes.
2018.
18, sorry.
Yeah.
And so maybe about 2 years before that we began all of those conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah. In kwaXhosa thina ekhaya sinengqithi.
Yeah.
And that was something that was like very, very far beyond conception that Yana's family could like make sense of.
Yini ngqithi?
The cut.
Oh, the cutting of the finger. Sorry, I didn't notice.
Is it Amamvulan?
No, singamamfene thina.
Okay.
And
So did you think you had an accident? Did she think you had an accident?
people don't notice this until I show them.
Yes, I didn't either.
So and when we discussed this, it was like my family just can't get with this part.
Yeah.
And so we talked about it to at length, and then eventually I called home and I talked to my aunt who is Igqirha, she's Sangoma, and stuff. And then we went home to the rurals and sat down with my aunt and said, how do we navigate this? And then she's like, oh, this is not such a big deal. Like lots of people in our family as well have chosen not to do it.
Okay.
And our ancestors have either like let them have that direction or have communicated through the child that they actually do want that thing, and they've communicated in further ways that it actually needs to be done. And so we, from that conversation with my aunt, we found a middle ground, a meeting ground. Like,
Was she part of that conversation?
Yes, she was with me. We went, the both of us, to my aunt.
The thing that actually took us there was that I personally wasn't a hard no. I felt like, we're two humans meeting from two different cultures, two different worlds. So we need to find a way that we fully honor this, that is aligned, that is correct. We have a beautiful, beautiful friend, Hamish, and he speaks about having grown up in an intercultural family. And their answer is to do it all fully. And so the question was, how do we do this in a way that is full? It's not about, no, we're not going to do it, cut, goodbye. It's about, how do we do this in such a way that it takes a shape and form that works for us both? And so I'd said, I need to understand why.
Yes.
And it can't just be because we've just always
Culture,
done
family has been doing it.
Yeah.
So for me, that was really important. I was like, if my child comes to me one day and we have taken that avenue, I would need to be able to give a full explanation as to why we chose that for them. And that started a journey of asking questions and took us to this meeting where we...
Yana's family's stance was like, you can't make such decisions that are so life-lasting, life-impacting for a child.
Make it for someone.
Let them choose that decision for themselves. And when we talked to my aunt, and my aunt was like, sometimes the ancestors do communicate through the child, if that is what they want for that child. And they then choose for themselves. And then we were like, there it is. There's a meeting ground that we can take to Yana's family, her mom, her brother, and like to understand. I was like, and then they're like, fine. If the child later on in life wants it for themselves, then we won't stand in the way of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And from that conversation, we found our meeting ground, and we found a way to communicate in Nyaniso, and we did the due diligence of communicating. And sicela okokuba liyadingeka, then nizasibonisa ngeyo indlela through Yana or however, but nasibonisa, but okwangoku, because of our different cultures and different families that you have chosen for us.
Yeah.
So you will communicate with them and find a place and a means of how to communicate if that's something that you want us to take.
Yeah.
Maybe you are changing a course for us to walk this cultural practice different.
Yeah.
We're leaving it to you, but we're asking not to do it.
Yeah.
That is
And
so interesting.
that's how we went about
Yeah.
that.
So just out of interest, because I know a lot of people are going to be asking, you say Ingrid,
Ingrid, yeah.
okay, Ingrid or Ingrid.
It's GQ.
Does every is it mainly for men or women do cut the finger as well?
Both men and women.
And women.
So in my family, ingqithi yenziwa kucicane.
Yeah.
And then komama or mantombazana yenziwa on the ring finger.
Is it at what age, or it doesn't matter?
Before the age of 5. Like
Yeah.
anytime between like 1 year old to about 5 years old is when it would.
Is it done in hospital or by you,
Yenziwa
mom?
ekhaya traditionally.
When you are alive?
Well, you are awake.
When you are awake?
While the child is awake.
Or they put you to sleep?
No.
Sorry.
Sleep how?
Sorry,
Culturally.
I'm
guys.
Xhosa, and I'm so aware of this. I'm like, I know. Pindi is the first time.
No, sorry, it's the first time, guys. He's Xhosa, I'm Zulu. You can imagine. You think you guys are different? We are different.
You know, well,
Black,
so
black,
different.
but still
You are
different.
related, man. Hey, Xhosa is a cousin of Zulu.
No, indeed,
Hey,
it's Nguni.
but
I mean, it's
culturally,
so,
things are
it's
done
so,
differently.
It's so different.
You know?
But where I want to get to is because we literally, and Pindi is interested, you know, on this because we can see ourselves in you, you know, especially through that journey, you know, the cultural and engaging that process, especially with the elders and so on. One of the, I don't know if it's a challenge, but certainly one of the hurdles that we had to jump often is the asking of questions around specific things, you know, and in our case, we found that they don't really like to be asked, you know, a lot of questions, maybe because they don't have much information themselves, but they don't really, like, how did you guys navigate that? Especially for you, I mean, your family was very firm on, you need to know the reason why.
Yeah, I think that there was a lot of grace given in my in-laws understanding that I am entirely removed from this cultural context.
Yeah.
And so there was room there. I definitely have identified the people that I go to specifically in private if I have questions, and I will ask, is it okay for me to ask a question? And if they say, sure, like, yes, Gotti, what do you want to know? Then they will share with me, they will reveal things to me. They will correct me if I'm out of line or doing something incorrect. I've been very, very blessed to be welcomed into a family that I met for the first time when we'd been together 3 months.
Yeah.
So they knew me.
So soon.
They knew me as...
I knew.
You don't play, yeah?
They knew me as Yana for years before I became
They actually
Nomta
met
to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Before they gave me their name, it was quite funny watching them all navigate. Like, no, she's Nomta now. Like, no, let's just call her by the
Yes. Well, so what is your name?
Nomta.
Oh, and in full?
Yeah. Nomta.
Nomta.
That's the-
Okay.
yeah.
Nomta.
Umta,
Yes.
Xhosa is like the first rays that
Yeah.
come when the sun comes out.
Yeah.
That first
That very
bit of
first
light,
one.
that light that you see.
Mtawelanga.
Oh, that's where Umtawelanga comes from. Okay, Nomta. Interesting. Lovely
She's
name.
your Lisa.
I'm your Lisa, by the way. I had to change my name. So
See, you are also breaking cultural norms.
yes,
you have to
guys.
have
No.
No,
You-
you're
no.
Lisa.
I told him before they named me that please, I'm
She
not gonna
told
be.
this one.
I was through you. I was saying I'm not gonna be no clinic, no France, no. What are the other names?
No, we'll leave that.
No,
leave
what? You know what I mean?
But
Why must there be a no?
No, first,
Be a yes.
Yes, Mtandas.
yeah, no.
So,
Oh, man, that's so
you
cool.
guys, okay, obviously, decision to come to here full time, right? Was that an easy one for your family, or are you out of your mind type of situation?
So there's two parts to it. Firstly, I was back and forth on visitors' visas for several years. Even after we were married, immigration has been a really complex thing for me.
Yeah.
And I was born to incredible parents. My dad did pass away, but my mother met my dad when she was 19. She was German, he was English.
Oh, wow.
They met in Ecuador.
No wonder your mom understood everything.
And my mama moved to England from Germany for my dad.
Oh, wow.
So they traveled together. And I actually watched her hating England. She never liked England. And I used to say, I am never going to move to another country for a man. And now the joke's kind of on you. But my mother champions love stories like no other. And she is spontaneous and she is wild. I remember when I was a kid, I think, because I'm the eldest of four, I think my youngest sister wasn't born yet. So family with 3 children. It was Friday night and she saw that there were really cheap tickets to Mexico for Monday. And so we all went to Mexico on Monday.
Just like that?
Like, my mother was so spontaneous. She was like, let's go, let's do it, let's meet people, let's see the world. We traveled a lot.
Wow.
And so going to a new country wasn't as out of the ordinary as it might have been for someone else. And my mama is someone who's like, sure, I'll book a flight ticket for you. Like, go, have your adventure, live your life fully, explore this, see what comes of it. And yeah, I feel very blessed to have her in my life and to have had her as an example of how you can live so freely and so openly. She's currently in Mexico now, snorkeling for hours and hours and hours and hours every single day.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because that's what she loves to do. You know? And so, yeah.
It's not that much. And for you on the other side,
It was daunting, especially at the beginning, because the pressure was like, now this person's come all this way for me.
yeah.
And so I remember early on trying to push her to as many friends as possible. Make some friends, because I felt pressured at the idea of like, I'm entirely responsible for you.
And are you still in
this
your one
forum.
room place?
I had a friend who wouldn't let me. He's like, yeah, it's balling.
You can't have somebody come all the way.
So let Ndombi as England, you're blue.
No.
If I go with back room as
I know, no.
And I had no shame. I was like, no, this is who I am.
I told her.
We're gonna go in this back room. We're Skyping while I was in that back room, so she must know. And he just like begged me for like days on end before she came to like accommodate her and come live with him in a commune house. So a friend of mine, his parents had given him this like 5-bedroom house, and like, you and your friends, you can stay there, but you're renting it out when we want the money for it or whatever. So anyway, my friend was like, yeah, you can come stay. The rent is gonna be like 2.4 or something like that. And I'm like, I pay 4. 2.2.
You pay for
200 rand.
400.
I was paying 460 rand.
Hi, Pela.
Now,
Two 2,000. So I was like, 2,600. Oh, guys. So anyway.
When I first came here, neither of us could drive, so we were taking taxis to his auditions, hoping that he would secure some kind of role and get a break. So when people are like, oh, so you're together with the actor, I'm like, yeah, we dreamed together. Like, you know, I did spend, I think, one night in that back room in Soweto.
No, we stayed a week there.
Was it a week?
We stayed a week.
We stayed there for some time.
The first week she came, my friend had like really just like made sure that I stay in Randburg first. So we stayed in this commune house in Randburg. He's like, I'll cover you for the first week. So he covered me to stay there for free. And he gave us his bedroom and we stayed there. And then the whole week I was like, don't get used to this. Eh? This is
We
not-
still gonna
this is
go
close.
to the back room.
Yeah, we're going to the back room. So the joke's on me because I got used to it. By like Thursday, I'm like,
I could leave.
I
here.
can actually pay the
toilet inside,
You know?
Yeah.
kitchen over there.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a garden here.
You know, you don't cook from your bed.
You know, like I don't like. I have to get up to go do things. I was
Yeah.
like, this is nice.
Yeah.
So by the end of the week, I talked to her. I was like, I think we might move, but we're still gonna go. So at the end of the week came. I think it was like Friday or whatever. We took all of her stuff in her bags and we went to Soweto. And it's been so we stayed there like very close to Jabulani Mall.
And how was that?
It was I loved it, but really Randburg had imposed itself on me. So
Yeah.
by like Wednesday of staying there for like 3 days, I called my friend. I was like, "Yo, tell Yogan that we're coming to move in."
We've decided.
And I don't even remember where the money came from, but I called a truck and it picked up all my stuff and I moved to.
Are you sure
to
Yana
Randburg.
didn't bring some from back home?
Was it your money that we used?
I have no idea. I'll be honest.
No,
My
I was
memory
too, I
does
had
not
too much
retain those
steam, too much. So I
Yes,
borrowed
yeah.
from my friend.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, sorry, can you just?
I would rather borrow, yeah?
I borrowed from my friend, and he helped me get I made things happen just like by being supported by friends a lot.
Yeah.
So my friends supported me a lot, and then in that time, in that week of staying in Soweto, we traveled a lot. 7 takes in and out of Soweto, and people just look at
That
me
must have
strange.
been strange.
Very, very. People used to think I was crazy. It was like we're arriving together, like from Joburg, and we're going into this back room, and that's how it was.
And for her, it was an adventure, I can imagine.
I think she
You
liked
know?
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kota's there, cheap food. I'm like, this is what 50 rand can do. You see? Yeah.
That 50 pounds.
You see that?
Can last you a week.
You see?
Oh, wow.
Like I've traveled as well, like
Yeah.
both with my family and by myself in sort of my late teens. I really, I just felt like, okay, like let's live life. I think I was raised in such a way that was like, don't put yourself above the way that people live.
Yeah.
And my parents always spoke the language where we went. They speak Indonesian when we were in Bali. They speak Spanish when we were in Mexico. They would often speak the language, and so they would connect with the locals. And we would always leave places knowing the people. We never did like hotels and, fancy kind of removed from life
Locals,
living. It was very local living the way that I was raised. And so it just felt like an extension of that for me. Like, okay, here's this person, let me take them for who they are. And
Oh, that's cool.
And look at him now.
and look at him
Like,
now.
seriously now. You did well, Yana.
Thank you.
I want to go back to something as we draw to a close. I want to go back to something you said about, you having to travel back and forth, and I tell you, the first time that I got to know about you was through this guy.
Oh, yes.
On Instagram.
Was it lockdown time?
Yeah, during lockdown.
When he was crying?
And I was like, is this guy even married? And making pleas, and it was a very harrowing,
Oh, it
very
was emotional.
period. Even for somebody who is far removed, somebody who's just on social media and you're coming across this, you know what I mean? And it's really, really, really touching. I would like for us to go there because, that's something that everybody, sort of got to know about, but maybe not the backstory. Can you take us, to...
It was a really specific situation that I was in.
Sure.
And I'll try to give the details without boring you with
Sure.
the long of it. I was born to a English father, German mother. And the law at the time in the UK stated that because my parents weren't married, even though they were together and deeply in love, and we were a tight family, they just weren't married, that I became German. So I lived my life as a German in the UK who traveled a lot but came back to the same hometown. And I only had a German passport despite growing up in the UK, all my schooling in the UK, all my family in the UK, visiting Germany every now and again, but the last time I'd been, I was 15. So no real connection to Germany, not close with my German family, no like intimacy with Germany. My German's not very strong, like my German language. And so I was in a situation where we'd married, I needed to apply for a visa, but my passport was expiring. Okay, so time to apply for a passport. This is all prior to lockdowns.
Yeah.
We think that we've got time. It's we don't realize that lockdowns are coming. So I need to apply for a new passport, but I realize that I haven't changed my name, and it matters to me because of our dynamic. And I knew at that point we wanted to bring children into the world, that we all have the same name on our passport if we travel. I was like, I can't travel with my child and my child has a different passport. That could be a
Problematic.
really problematic situation. So I had applied for a name change certificate. The name change certificate has to go through Germany. That was taking a long time. I then had to apply for my passport, and my passport was processing. On another timeline, separate to my passport and me needing a new passport to apply for the visa, the UK had decided to initiate Brexit. And I had an option. I could either apply for right to remain, which is what the rest of my family did, which was a smaller process, or I could apply for British citizenship because the laws had backdated. So now I was eligible to become British. And I said, you know what? Let me apply for my British passport. So my British citizenship rather, was pending. So my passport's pending, my citizenship is pending, and then Brexit goes into effect. We had gone to Rwanda, which had a lower count than South Africa even at the time. And South Africa had made a statement that they weren't letting anyone in from high-risk countries.
Yes.
But I thought, we're in Rwanda, it's fine, like the count is lower here. We saw in some articles that they will factor travel history, so where you're coming from. And so I thought, you know what, I'll be fine. It's okay, they'll be able to stamp me in. And then hopefully my passport will arrive and it's all fine. I can apply for the visa to be here. I arrived from Rwanda into South Africa, and they're like, no, ma'am, there is a blanket ban on passports from high-risk countries. I know Brexit has gone into effect, and technically now I'm not legally allowed to be there, and they could easily say, you have to go to Germany. South Africa was saying you have to go to Germany or the UK, both of which were high-risk, locked down, police patrols. And I was like, I can't go to the UK because they might not let me in. I can't go to Germany because I don't know, like, what am I going to do? People are dying here. And you remember the panic of that time.
Guys.
So I was like, no, like I'm married to this man. My passport is pending and it will arrive here in South Africa. So I can't leave. I couldn't bear the thought of ending up in a really risky situation. I was like, this feels like my only option, to be here, to stay here, to be with my husband. And so, yeah, I stayed. And it was a week in a detention center. A few days of that, I was in a cell, mostly by myself. We had a lawyer who was working on the case. And the case actually fell through, but other doors opened. And they granted me access initially for the duration of lockdown, which was 3 weeks. Because back then they were stating that lockdowns were going to be 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So came in for 3 weeks, it rolled over, it rolled over, it rolled over, it rolled over. And then, yeah, we fell pregnant I wanted to get all of my paperwork sorted before our daughter was born. And one step after another, one thing led to another. They were like, actually, we are putting out a deportation notice. You have to leave the country within 2 weeks, otherwise we'll arrest you. And so I flew out of the country at 33 weeks pregnant, and then flew back again at 36 weeks and had a beautiful birth here in South Africa. Our child is with us now. But yeah, it was a really trying time. I also tried to remind myself of people globally who have such harder situations than I do, and the many, many, many privileges that I had in that situation, as hard as it was. It kind of, I remember having conversations in the detention center at the time with other European people that were coming in, and they were getting out of there as quick as they could. They wanted to, they wanted to get out. They were like, it's interesting that this is probably the first time that a space like this, a detention center like this, has had to deal with so many European people. And like, it really felt important for me to recognize that this was a kind of out of the box experience for someone like me. And that's sort of been an interesting element to navigate. It's like, yes, I went through something that was really challenging. I'm still dealing with physical health issues from my time in there. And at the same time, here we are. And, you know, all is well.
All is well.
Yeah.
That plea, because I think you brought attention to something that a lot of South Africans
We're ignorant about.
were really not in touch with. What was going through your mind when you made that plea? Because, oh my gosh, it was, you literally feel so emotional and want to cry just by hearing. At that time, we don't even know her. You know, but as you are talking about this woman who's stuck and
I'm like, hey, when a man, you don't have a wife.
he was saying, who doesn't even have a wife? You know what I'm saying? But the sincerity for me in that plea, I think, is one of the things that stood out at that moment. What was going through your mind as you were like, I'm going to take my phone. This is what I'm going to be, doing.
I reached a place where esteem and ego had gone out the window. I was quite desperate for my wife to be with me, and at that time we were really trying to bring our lives together. It felt like a poignant time where we were trying to build. We were trying to like just be a family. And there was now no other option, no other thing that I could do at that time. And I was like, I have this thing about me, I'm realizing it's a pattern of like, I'll only truly give up once I know I've exhausted every option that I have. And that was my final option. And I had to exhaust that and put my ego out there and drop all like facade and vulnerability, put it out there and ask for help. And it's funny, that's the thing that actually did it, because through that video, our lawyer was attracted to us. The lawyer that helped us get into the country, who's now our friend, and we've been journeying with for a long time. And I guess that was it. That was God saying, okay, cool. What else can we do? And I did that, and that's what.
Imagine if pride got on the way.
Don't let pride. Drop everything.
Goes before fall. Oh my goodness. So guys, you guys are working on a number of things. What are you guys working on? Currently, I know about the book. We are authors, so we're very excited about books and so on.
I've written 2 books. They have been published internationally, but I'm bringing them to South Africa, so I'm doing revisions now. I've just finished the audiobooks for both of them as well.
So you'll find it on Audible?
You will soon find it on Audible and across South Africa. The title of the first book is The Fire in My Belly.
Yeah.
And it parallels a lot of my childhood stories of travel and puts them alongside our journey together and our love story. And there's a lot of sort of intercultural exploration in that. And the second one is called You Came with the Birds. And it's for and to our daughter about conception, pregnancy, and birth.
Yeah.
And our journey through that initiation, again, through this intercultural perspective of, going through something that is so huge for the both of us and meeting it very differently because of having such different backgrounds, different life experiences, different understandings of how things are supposed to be. So yeah, those two books, they kind of sit together hand in hand.
Yeah, the one follows the other.
One follows the other. And they'll be coming out soon.
Oh, yes, we can't wait.
Thank
And
you.
something you both are working on together. Is there a production or something?
Yeah, so individual capacity, I'm acting on Skim Sam. Catch me there.
Yeah.
There's a film that I also did called Why the Cattle Wait, and it's busy doing it's festival run, directed by Pumi Murare, I think is her surname. Don't get mad. And together, well, also on Yana's personal capacity, she is a writer, published books, and a bid writer. So she helps people apply for funding to push their projects through, which is what our joint venture is.
Oh, nice.
She wrote a bid for me to the NAC, where NAC had put out an open call to say, look, if you got projects out there that supports certain criteria of what the country's trying to achieve, then let us know. We wrote to one of those, and we were successful in that one. And the project is around men.
Yeah.
And we're bringing light to the conversations that can take the healing for men forward.
Yeah.
And it's multi-layered, it's visual, documentary facets to it, but it's going to end up being a live stage performance, which is where Billy and I perform it together, being co-produced by Theatre Duo, which is Billy's company with Mahlatsi. And Mahlatsi's directing. Ginger is choreographing. Ginger's full name, Gonje? Ernest Baleni.
Man, that's so
is
awesome.
choreographing, and we are like going into deep immersion and researching these topics. So we went to rural Komani, Islalin up on Suga Corner.
Yeah.
We talked to the chief and the heads of villages, and we talked to young men, we talked to boys who are being initiated, who have been. We are unpacking cultural practices that have brought men together, and our current focus for this project is Uqula Ukudlala Induku.
Yes.
And so
Stick fight.
in our last journey, the journey before this one, actually, like this past weekend, we were there in the rurals and we did workshops. And in those workshops, we brought the Holding Space Project, which is a project that is headed up by men that come from Mankind Project, who are therapists, facilitators, who hold space, like circles for men to speak and go into their wounds and unpack things that have been really poisoning us as men. And so they help facilitate circles emakaya, and we chatted to amadoda amadala amaxhego, and we chatted to young men and talked about what's happening with these two groups of men, what's happening in men in general, and unpacked and pulled up gems that are going to help speak to this theater piece that we're going to do. And the last trip that we did to Islalini Komani, we held a stick fighting competition. because like ukudlala induku is not done so
Yeah.
often anymore, because technology is taking the lead and whatever, and we're forgetting our culture.
Yeah.
We're forgetting ourselves as men. We're forgetting the things that bring men together. We're forgetting the lessons that come from these cultural practices that we have.
And the healing that
And
it
exactly,
brings.
so we did that and we held that, and it really like brought very unique healing in each time and in each phase of this trip and the research that we've done. And then the next phase is we're going to write the script for it, rehearse it, and then the final phase is we're going to perform it. So
Yeah.
there's 3 more phases left. We've done 2 phases of it, and that's the exciting project that we're doing.
Oh, wow.
I'm project leading. She is co-project leading and just like making sure that the logistics of the entire
business
project
side,
is
Yes.
taken
Oh,
care of.
wow.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing together right now. And we're hoping to do more of it and birth it into different platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, that is so incredible.
Thank you.
It's been a beautiful moment with you guys.
Thank you so much.
We feel like we tried to cover your lives, but we couldn't cover them enough. There's so much coming from both of you. But thank you so much for making the time. Yana, you know
Thank
this.
you.
We've been trying to do this for the longest time.
We have.
But
We made it happen.
You know what I
Here
mean? It finally happened. So
Eventually.
thank you guys. We couldn't thank you enough for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Well, that's all we have the time for in this week's episode. We hope that you had an awesome time with us and, gleaned a couple of things from this week's couple, and hopefully that your family, your own life, your love life is, left better, than it was. Thank you so much for joining us, and it's been absolute pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Until next time.